Hello FUTV Army and a happy Sue morning to you. More on Rasmus Højlund's celebration later. Get in there, Rasmus, son. Come on, I want to talk about Gerard Branthwaite and that saga returning first of all, though, before everything else today, in which we've got talks on Dibbling starting as well. We're going to Branthwaite, like I just said there as well. How much will Chelsea have to pay? That fee has now been revealed in terms of what they would have to pay to send Sancho back. By the way, just to calm you all down, there's still no plan to send Sancho back to Manchester United yet, but the fees are in place and we can now talk about that as well. And Manchester United apparently in for Rafinha and Nico Williams. Seriously? I mean, come on. I'm going to talk why and how Manchester United would even be in for players like that. Barcelona now in for a Manchester United target for this summer. What does that mean? Does that open the door elsewhere for Manchester United? Or does that pretty much condemn us to a target list of not so good players? Or not as good players. I don't say not so good. It's not fair on them, but not as good, you could say as well. Plenty to get through this morning, along with all of your live chat. Get involved in the show, everybody. Make sure you've subscribed and given the video a like, please. If you are subscribed, you are allowed into the live chat. Get in there now, join the community here on FUTV and have your say on the show today. And let's kickstart everything off with Gerard Branthwaite. It's back. Again, it happens, doesn't it? It's United. We have to just accept it. I looked at the news. I seen it circulating last night, and I'm like, no. And I looked again this morning, and I'm like, there it is, for God's sake. And apparently Manchester United, according to The Sun, and a few other people have run with this as well now, as I just said then, because I didn't really want to be talking about Gerard Branthwaite, but Manchester United are definitely willing to meet the 50 million price tag. I mean, first of all, where did 50 million come from, and why has that changed all of a sudden? I mean, seriously? Come on. I mean, when you look at the situation from last summer and Branthwaite, the standoff and everything that was there with Manchester United, the 2 to 3 bids, was it 2 bids, I think, actually, that United had rejected for Gerard Branthwaite? Why all of a sudden has Gerard Branthwaite's price come down from 70 million to 50 million? So, first of all, in terms of this story, I'm leading down the not real. Obviously, he was a target, and I think that the media have run with this because United have actually had bids rejected for him. And quite frankly, they walked away from the deal. I didn't have a problem with Manchester United walking away from Branthwaite. It was 2 days, not doing the Harry Maguire scenario again by being rinsed by a Premier League club, and we walked away. That should have been a sign, really, for us all to look into the transfer window, what was ahead in the summer, and go, well, that's probably where United are at. And let's be honest, Gerard Branthwaite, for what was it, 75 million they wanted in the summer, we managed to get De Ligt for 42 million, and we managed to get Yo for 52 million. So for what, an extra 27 million, is it? Something like that. We managed to get 2 centre-backs that are probably better than Gerard Branthwaite going forward. Let's be honest. Gerard Branthwaite is a decent centre-back, but I think De Ligt's been better than him this season, and I think Yoro in time, we will see. Obviously, it's hard for me to compare them two right now, but still, I feel like he will be a better player for Manchester United. And we brought in Aidan Heaven as well. So we got 3 centre-backs in when we could have just had Branthwaite for the same money now. Well, not the same money, but 25 million more. We've managed to actually get an extra 2 centre-backs in. I'm sorry, the business was done and the business was good. I know we're missing 2 centre-backs this summer, but let's be honest, how much has Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof really featured for Manchester United this season? Not much. Mazraoui can drop back into the back 3. You've obviously got Heaven there as well, who's been added mid-season also. Yoro, Martinez will be back next season. De Ligt, Kikonki coming through. Nah, I'm okay. I don't need you, Gerard. But the story reads, just so you can make your own mind up about this anyway, Manchester United are ready to meet Gerard Branthwaite's 50 million plus valuation this summer. United would have to qualify for the Champions League to sign him. There's another red flag straight away. Why are we having to qualify for the Champions League? Honestly, if we're qualifying for the Champions League, Gerard Branthwaite isn't a player that I'm looking to go and get anyway. Personally, that's just my opinion on this. I think I'm spending more money elsewhere in bolstering our squad depth rather than at centre-back. Yeah, I understand that we probably do need to bring in another centre-back in time, but seriously, I'm sure that there are other areas of our pitch that need reinforcements ahead of centre-back right now. And if we are going to spend 50 million plus, and teams are going to take advantage of us because they know that we're in the Champions League, then Branthwaite isn't my man. as the player is determined to join a side playing in that competition. Branthwaite is ready to consider a move. United believe that they can make the deal happen. No. On all sides, it's a no for me personally. For the main reason, like I just said there, and the other areas of the pitch are more important for Manchester United right now. And I feel like Manchester United's structure going into the summer does have a plan. I think centre back will be on the cards later down the line, but clearly, when you look at this, we've just had an owner that's come out and said that Manchester United are going bankrupt if he didn't invest that money into the football club. And you're talking about 50 million plus players. Now, someone's pulling the wool over our eyes a little bit here. I think Sir Jim Radcliffe's message about bankrupt was basically just to steady the waters going into the transfer window coming up. Like, don't think that you're going to get Manchester United to pay the stupid fees that you've put on the table for your players that we're looking at. I think that's the message there from Sir Jim Radcliffe. I don't think Manchester United were on the brink of going completely bankrupt. I can't see it with the turnover that we've got. I understand the figures may have sent us under a little bit because of what we've spent and everything that's going on at the football club. He will fix the finances eventually at Manchester United and help United start turning a profit each year. I'm pretty certain of that. Will it be enough to cover the debt and what's hampering United? No, it won't. We know it won't. So that's going to need outside investment to bridge that gap. Maybe the stadium will bring that in time, and what we're actually going to gather revenue-wise, apparently 120 to 150 million pound more a season in match day revenues from the new stadium if that is actually built. So maybe in time that's where we start to chip away at the debt. But for now, no, debt stays, Glazers stay. Ineos are going to keep on cutting and running Manchester United streamline. They're the facts, and that's what's in front of us right now. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Branthwaite and deals like this, I just don't see happening. Manchester United are not going to spend more than 50 million on a player that they've had 2 bids rejected for a season before, who is 1 year less on his contract. I'm calling bullshit on this story. I really am. Look, Branthwaite is a good defender, and would I like him in my team? Yeah, I wouldn't mind him. I think he's all right, but I'm not really fussed. I'm not concerned about it at all. I think what we've brought in after that saga last summer, even if you could call it a saga, to be honest, I'm happy with what we've got. And in all of them centre-backs there, I didn't even mention Maguire and his extra year. We don't need another centre-back. I'm sorry. If you go out and bring in another wide player or a right wing-back or one of them wide defensive players, Mazraoui dropped back into the 3 there. There's more than enough cover, and I don't think United need Gerard Branthwaite. But that's the story running today. There's a few people gone with it from last night, and Manchester United are looking to spend that amount of money. I don't think so. And to be honest, it's all based off Man United being in the Champions League anyway. Which, as confident as we are right now and upbeat as we are, well, maybe not really confident, but as more optimistic, I think is the right word, as we are right now as United fans with what's happening on the pitch. I don't think anybody's thinking that United are cakewalking this Europa League and then being in the Champions League next season, are we? So let's just get back in line with where the realistic sort of targets are for Manchester United. And I feel like when you look at where we are in the league, when you look at what probably is going to happen, I think there are better teams right now in the Europa. Look, I don't know. We could win the Europa League and it could all open up, but I'm just going to bank on Manchester United not being in the Champions League next season, and I'm going to go from there. And I think that's how United should be planning their transfer window either way. Like, just because we're in the Champions League, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and spend more money on players. If you can go and get, for instance, Inacio for 35 million from Sporting, if you really want a centre-back, then go and get him and save yourself bleeding 20 million. And that 20 million could go on somebody else in midfield or up front. I'm sorry, no, it's a no-brainer for me. There are plenty of cover there right now. There's plenty of players coming through. We don't need Branthwaite. And I think this story has just been brought up again because Branthwaite hasn't signed a new deal at Everton. And obviously Manchester United were in contact with Everton last summer. So I don't see it actually happening right now. I have done a poll in the chat as well for you all to get involved in. Is Branthwaite the right target for United this summer? 83% of you have already said no to that one. So yeah, I think that's pretty much saying it as it is right now, isn't it? That not many Manchester United fans feel like he is the right move for the club. And there are better players out there that we need in different areas. Let's get into the chat on this actually right now. Please do give the video a like, everybody. We're almost at that 100 like mark already. Thanks everybody who has joined us and is getting your comments in. Let's get in there now. Atro says, morning Adam, I think Branthwaite is not worth it. If we could get Aiden for 1 million, 1.5 million, recruitment can definitely find someone better, but for a more realistic and reasonable price. Yep, I agree with that one. Branthwaite price has reduced because he's not signing a new contract with Everton. He wants out. You're right, mate. I think I just did touch on that as well there. That 50 million should be going to the likes of Gyökeres instead of a decent Everton centre back. 50 million max. He'll be 50 million max, says Mayno there. Honestly, even at that, I wouldn't give 40 million for Jarrad Branthwaite. I think that's the price. Really, I think I said that in the summer. Like we would go to what, 50 million max? I think we were saying in the summer. Right now, another year gone on his contract. I'm talking what, 50? 50? No, not even that. 40 million. I think that's his price right now. With that, I think he's got 2 years left on his deal. Hi Adam, absolutely no way would I be going for Branthwaite. Way too expensive. Money needs to be spent elsewhere. Plus, I think centre-back positions are fine as they are. How about Rasmus scoring last night? We will be talking on that in a minute. Huggles says we don't need another centre-back. The price is over the top. He's not world-class, and Real Madrid or Barcelona are not after him. High standards there for Huggles. Philip says, morning Adam, we need more signings like Heaven all the way up the pitch, young and hungry for a chance. Yeah, I mean, look, Heaven is an absolute godsend bonus signing for Manchester United. To bring in someone like that who can now be seen as one of Manchester United's first team options at centre-back for £1 million. £1 million. Let that sink in. That there is. That's recruitment at its best. And that isn't always going to be there for Manchester United. Let's be clear. And I think United's seen an opportunity there. But what it does show you is that we are on the pulse and we are ready to move when them deals do pop up. And I think that's the bonus of having a decent structure in place right now when it comes to transfers. So, yeah, hopefully more of that to come as well. Branthwaite, no way. I would sooner have Ousmane Diomande. I think everybody would have Diomande over Branthwaite. But I think he's a quality player. And you know what? If United were going out of their way to bring in someone like him in the centre-back position, I would probably be looking at that and going, yep, I can see why. I can definitely see why. And I would go for Diomande. I don't know what the price would be for him yet. There's been a few brandished around through the season, but no real movement on that one yet. Or if Sporting are indeed looking to sell him right now, because they're going to lose Gyökeres. They've obviously just lost 2 players themselves to Chelsea as well. Inacio is looking like he could be leaving. I don't know. Where are they at right now in terms of their own recruitment? So later down the line, maybe we'll see something along that one. But yes, that will be another story for us to talk about in the future. Almost there. Well, we'll just call it 100 likes. Thank you, everybody. Get involved in the chat. Talk to me. I do want to talk about Tyler Dibbling next. Now, yes, I am fully into this one. I want Dibbling at Manchester United. I've said it before. I like the player. I love the way he moves. His energy, his work rate from what I've seen. He's been in a poor Southampton side. Some people have come back at me at times on Dibbling and said he goes missing in games. I think if you're a forward player in that Southampton side, you probably are going to go missing because your back's to the bleeding wall half of the time and he can't get the ball to the forwards. So on that's my defence of Dibbling. I do think that United will be dipping into the relegated teams and the Championship. Like we've talked about, you've had the Joe Bellingham situation. You've got the Chris Rigg, you've got the Aidan Hackney, you've got all of them players. You've got Liam Delap's going to be in the Championship next season, Tyler Dibbling, likewise. And Dibbling right now, and according to sources, Manchester United have open talks with Southampton over Tyler Dibbling. It is pretty much confirmed that Southampton are down. They've got 9 points, and we're into the last 9 games of the season. They're finished. Over the next few weeks, it will be confirmed that they are mathematically relegated, and then the floodgates open in terms of inquiries and communication with Southampton. He will be going. There is no way that Dibbling is staying at Southampton. Not in a billion trillion years. He's never going to be a Southampton player next season. And when you look at Southampton's situation right now? Could they even drive that harder bargain right now, being in the Championship? I don't think so. Look, there are talks to try and renew his contract. In fact, I'm just going to put in a situation. I cannot remember exactly what his contract situation is, so I'm just going to get it up again now. Okay, 2027. Yeah, Southampton are screwed. 2027, 19-year-old. Hasn't really scored many goals in the Premier League, but then again, it is a absolute dog poo side in Southampton that we're dealing with here. And opportunities, I think, not hit right now. Market value for Diblin is 25 million. United need to be getting Diblin. I reckon for him, I think a fee of approximately 30 to 35 million should be where United are going for Diblin. Max out. I think they'll be trying to get him cheaper. I mean, his market value is nowhere near where Manchester United... he's nowhere near Southampton's asking price, I don't think, right now. But they cannot be picky. Like, Diblin will not sign a new deal with only 2 years left on his contract. And then you're entering the realms of, can we get back up next season with Southampton? Do you want to stay another season in the Championship, Tyler Diblin? And then, if it doesn't work out, they're then into the last year of his contract, and they're in the Championship, and he goes for absolute peanuts. I think now is the time to cash in for Southampton, and the pressure is starting to mount on them. So the story coming out about Manchester United opening talks with Southampton, I can see that definitely having legs, and 100% he is a player that I think improves Manchester United, and I think he will give us another dimension going forward. Premier League proven, you could argue that point, I get it. He's playing in a really poor Southampton side, and you cannot really even say that he's Premier League proven. I rate him, and this is a chance for United because he's at Southampton, and you cannot really see the qualities. Now, obviously, this is just my opinion, and this is just what I think about it, but please do get into the comment section and argue the point with me, everybody. You might not like Diblin, that's totally fine, but what I think this is now is us really testing and seeing what the recruitment side of Manchester United's new structure is. Because Amorim and his system, I think Diblin fits. I think he's got the quality, the tenacity, the strength, the speed, the guile, everything that you need in that Ruben Amorim number 10 position right there. I would 100% be on board with this from what I've seen. But is he the right man? Have we seen enough? Is there enough of his character come out this season, in this dreadful season for Southampton, for them to know that if they bring him into United, he will hit the numbers that we need? He's not really done it this season. What's he got? A couple of goals this season, I think it is. His performances are more in-game and what you can see behind the actual lines. The injury hasn't helped Southampton because he's gone off the radar and his value has probably just stayed still. They were probably hoping that he had an absolute stormer of an end to the season, and then they could start driving that price up going into the summer. The fact that Southampton have been absolute shite, let's just say it. Early morning, I know. Sorry if you're listening, driving into school or anything like that. Scheisenhausens, let's just call it that. Then I don't think they're in any bargaining position at all. 2 years is a nightmare for a contract length left when you're looking at a young player like this, because you know with one of them years being in the Championship, you are then going to have to try and tie him down to a new deal, hoping that you're going to be getting promoted back to the Premiership after next season, and there is no guarantee. No guarantee at all. I mean, look at that Southampton side. It is absolutely awful, and I feel sorry for Diblin. I do. And it looks like he's not that good enough player, because people will say, what's he done? What's he done this season? Well, this is where recruitment comes in. This is where recruitment takes over, because you will look at the characteristics, and proper scouting would see what this player was all about. I've seen it in times. I've seen him terrorise Manchester United both times. And obviously, that's me up close and personal and what I've seen there in the games. And that's just my opinion, like I said. But I want to come to the comment section now just to see if you are on board with Diblin signing for Manchester United. Is he the right way to go for the football club? Adam, Diblin would be a good signing. We haven't got many left foot players. No, that's come from Raj there. I definitely agree. He definitely is something that we haven't got. 100% that Diblin should be a deal to lock in. I would also say the same with Chris Rigg. That's from Atro again. Golden says, I don't see the overreaction because Rasmus scored. He's talking about that. We'll talk about that in a minute, Golden, definitely. Chris says Southampton got both 50 million for Lavia and Livramento when they got relegated. Yeah, but there's relegated and then there's relegated, and there's 2 years left on a deal that will go to a 1 year left on their deal, on his deal, when he plays a full season out in hope that they get back to the Premier League. That's what you're up against right now. This is going down with 2 years left, and then his agent saying, we're not signing a new deal at Southampton. We're not doing it. We want to get this move. I feel like he's had a taste for it. Yet you can say that they got a bit of money for other players before, but let's be fair. Right now at 19 and unproven, because both of them players were probably doing a little bit more at Southampton when they got relegated that you mentioned in there. And I just look at it and go, you're not going to be able to, with financial fair play now, go and drive that bargain, go and drive that price up. I think 35 million is max for him. Southampton will ask 40 million. Buying from the EPL clubs is always expensive. I know. Tyler Diblin, 100%. Yes, our throwback to our wingers from the 90s. Very exciting. Every player has struggled at Southampton this season. Watch him soar in our side next season. Surely a must, says Dacia Sandero. More likely to get Semenya than Diblin this year. I don't know. Semenya is going to be dear as well. There's a point right there. Diblin or Semenya? Which player is better? South Coast? No, there's no connection there at all. Good morning to you as well, Babs. Hope you're doing well. Personally, I would go for Diblin over Semenya, but I see the appeal in Semenya. He's an absolute quality player, and he gives us that absolute blistering pace as well. Strong and well and truly proven. But I don't know. I don't know if United will be able to get him. Look, to back up everything that we've said here and the difficulty in bringing these players in and these types of players, is Man United are not going to be the only team looking at these players. That's what you've got to look at as well. There is going to be competition for all of these signings, and that's what we're up against. We will be struggling this season, this summer, I think, in the competition side of things, with teams that are in miles better position than us in the Premier League and in the rest of Europe going for all of these players. So I'm happy that we're hearing that Diblin's talks with Southampton have started now. United are doing groundwork. United are getting on with everything that's necessary to get these players in. I think it's vitally important that United get a move on with everything that they need to do in the summer right now. So, yeah, it bodes well. It looks good. But, again, still got to get the deal over the line. And come on, Manchester United's recruitment. Are we going to have as good a summer as we did last summer when it comes to bringing in players? Xerxes is really the only player from last summer that you've got to really question in terms of the quality going forward. But even he's getting better now. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we can continue that transfer activity that we had in the summer and the way that we operated into this summer's transfer window as well. Southampton have Højlund on loan in the Championship. Yeah. I don't see that happening. I don't think so. Spurs have invested a lot into youth last summer, and then they went older in January. I think they want to move to more experienced players. I think that's just a conversation with two people there as to competition that might be in for our targets. I personally think Howard Bellis and Downs are better prospects. Diblin's decision making is poor. Honestly, again, I want to see him in a better side, and I'd rather that side be Manchester United. Can we get the deal, though, I think is the question. Semenyo is better, but also older. Diblin's ceiling is much higher, says Anno. See, this is the conversation that we're having right now. This is the debate. It's bringing in the future prospect side of it to the ready-made player. Can you turn Diblin into a consistent player like Semenyo has been this season for Bournemouth? That comes down to recruitment. That comes down to scouting these players properly, looking at attributes and characteristics that Ruben Amorim wants in his team. And like Ruben has said, like we've spoken about many a times on these shows, he's always come out and said we cannot make the same mistakes we have before. We need to be 100% on all of these signings. And this is where recruitment really does start to step up to that next level. You need to be 100%. If you're spending 30 million and more on a player, that player has to be perfect for Manchester United. Absolutely perfect. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about Manchester United scraping the barrel again when it comes to finances and meeting the PSR threshold. So I just look at this and go, right now, I can give my opinion on all of these players. I like certain players. I like what they do. I like what they bring. But we're just in the realm of hoping that this recruitment team can get the best deal for United. And that's it. Big Bad Phil says, we are for once a pretty well stacked in defence. Branthwaite is 100% not needed. True. Tomo in Thailand, McSauce scored the winner for Scotland last night. Yes, he did. As long as we're not playing in a high, as long as we're not paying a high fee, we can't make back. We can't make back. Sorry, Daniel. I think that was a bit of a typo there, buddy. Or didn't quite come across right. Now you're talking Adam Diblin. That's a Fergie type signing. Yes, boxing. I like it. I do like that type of signing. I do like Diblin, and I think this is where United need to go. I really do. On to other transfer news, which is a bit more far out there. And I'm going to question everybody here. So, Manchester United apparently, according to sources, want Rafinha and they want Nico Williams. Yeah, right. Okay, how do Manchester United actually make that happen? The only way I see this happening, and I want to ask Manchester United fans, would you sell Kobbie Mainoo, would you sell Garnacho and Marcus Rashford to fund bringing in players like Rafinha, players like Nico Williams? Because that's the only way that Manchester United could actually bring players of that quality in to their side. The report says that United want that type of player. They want and are interested in Nico Williams and Rafinha, but it would come down to selling players to make money to bring them players in. So, would you get rid of Rashford, Garnacho and Mainoo to bring in the likes of Rafinha, possibly a Nico Williams type of player? Because that's what it's going to take. So, United fans, get into the chat, talk to me, tell me, would you sell the likes of Garnacho and Mainoo if it meant bringing in the likes of a Williams or a Rafinha? Now, Rafinha is only being spoken about, I feel, because he, in terms of his contract at Barcelona and what they're looking to do, obviously we know the financial situation at Barcelona right now is pretty dire, but apparently they are now interested in Victor Osimhen, and Barcelona are looking at Victor Osimhen as a possible target for the summer, which would, let's be honest, take Manchester United completely out of the reckoning. They are going great guns this season. Barcelona are obviously top of La Liga right now. I think it's on goal difference with a game in hand on Real Madrid. Obviously still in the Champions League reckoning as well. What you've got to look at with Barcelona is, I feel like they are just on the cusp of something big again with the stadium reopening. Everything that's happening with them there and the financial side of things and what is to come. The team that they've got right now on its own, like seriously, why would Rafinha want to leave Barcelona? I mean, it's a non-story surely, isn't it? But again, it just brings up the point that if United wanted to go for top quality players, then we would have to sell what we would see as our decent players right now. But then you've got the argument, are Garnacho and Mainoo even good enough for Manchester United? Because they're not on a level with the likes of Rafinha or, in fact, Nico Williams, both having very, very good seasons. The Nico Williams conversation is doing the rounds at the moment. It does look like Bilbao may be ready to cash in, but let's not forget, Bilbao are in the Europa League. They're hosting the Europa League final. They could book themselves into the Champions League next season, and that changes things. Let's not forget, Bilbao are also fourth in La Liga right now, which is Champions League anyway, and they're looking quite comfortable in there right now. So, really, when you look at it, it's not like they need to sell Nico Williams. Barcelona don't need to sell Rafinha. I think all of these stories are being put out there because you're expecting the Barcelonas of this world right now to go out and start buying players. And it's not the case anymore. It's not what it used to be. They are bringing in their academy players. They are fast-tracking some of their quality players and within their academies. And I think even with the financial position that they've got themselves in, which is now looking like with the new stadium almost ready to move back into, then you're looking at them really turning another corner. And I just don't see how Manchester United would ever get a player from Barcelona. I just don't see it ever happening. But these are the worlds that we used to live in. And I just wanted to compare that because it's like, I don't think there's anything in Nico Williams and Raphinha, and I've kind of made that story. I brought that story in. It is real, and there is people reporting it, but I brought that story in, and just to compare with what we were just talking about, Branthwaite, Dibbling, players like this, Raphinha, Williams, that's the old days gone. That's where United used to be, and that's where United will never ever get to again. I don't think under Ineos and the way that they're running. Maybe in time we'll be able to put that little cherry on top of the cake in signing someone that's ready-made and is absolutely world-class. I just don't see that ever happening again. And it's good to look at that and that story there with Nico Williams, with Raphinha and the quality. They're like Manchester City players and where they're at right now. United are a million miles away from that. And that, I feel is a good way to gauge where we're actually at reality-wise. I don't think United are anywhere near them years of bringing in quality players straight off the transfer market right into Manchester United's side. We've got to build something before we get to that point again. But even then, I just don't see United doing that anymore. And it is a great comparison, I feel, looking at Dibbling, looking at Nico Williams and Raphinha, and that's where we're actually at. That's what we've got to create right now. United need to create these players. They need to create these superstars by recruiting right and bringing the younger players through. We cannot afford to go out and buy quality anymore. And that is the sad state of affairs. So would you get rid of the quality young players that United have got coming through? Would you cash in on them players to bring in the ready-made quality players? Or would you rather us go out and recruit the cheaper players that could actually be stars of the future working under a Ruben Amorim system? Are you willing as a Manchester United fan to accept that we are a bottom half of the table, mid-table side, and need to buy players that are from that area, from teams in and around us? Because that's where we are right now. And we haven't got the money to go out and spend on big players. We cannot just throw the checkbook at this anymore, is what we're saying. We have to go out and recruit properly. We need the Dibblings. We need the Riggs, the Joe Bellinghams. We need these types of players. We need the Aiden Heavens. We need the Chido Obi Martins coming through summers. That's where Manchester United are at right now, and it's not going to change going forward with this new transfer structure in place under Ineos. We have to accept it as fans. Are you willing to accept it? That's the thing right now. Them days of United going out and buying quality are dead. It's never going to happen again. I mean, maybe down into the deep future, you could look at Manchester United, like I said, buying one quality player here and there, but I just don't see it. I just don't see Manchester United being in the reckoning anymore for anyone like that. I'm going to go to the comments on this now and see what you're all saying on this one. Certainly two of them, Garnacho and Rashford, maybe Mainu as well. Undecided about him at the moment. Those high-class players you've mentioned, we all would, wouldn't we? Can't see them leaving their clubs though. I'd sell Mainu already. Too much of a Rashford about him long term. Let's see what else we've got. It sounds like chasing Williams and Raphinha is similar to chasing De Jong. Not a chance, says Andrew. It does. It has that ring about it. Is it just United trying to stay relevant? And like, we're still here. Don't forget about us. There's not. Manchester United are never going to be buying players like that. Now, bro, we've got them in the next round, and Thursday nights at Ibrox are just different. Oh, sorry, yeah. In terms of a Rangers fan, they're talking about Bilbao. I think Bilbao are a quality outfit, by the way. Wasn't Williams asking for a pretty insane contract to leave Bilbao last summer? How would we balance that? That's it. I know. Again, these players and their demands is a world away from Manchester United now. Recruitment days. So Jim Radcliffe talked about it in his interviews the other last week, when he's talking about Manchester United giving the rope to the management team at the club and them just going out and not recruiting properly, just buying players for namesake and not going out buying the right profile of player. Look, they've brought a coach in that they're willing to back and give him players to work in that system. You cannot just go out and spend an absolute fortune because of a name. We all know Raphinha's awesome. For Barcelona, he is. We all know that Williams is brilliant. We all know that Frenkie de Jong was brilliant for Barcelona. Like, all of these players were fantastic. Casemiro was fantastic. Varane was fantastic. And we brought them into Manchester United. Ronaldo, Sancho. All of these players were fantastic, but did they work at United? No, they didn't. They didn't. All in all, they didn't, did they? And you can talk about some individual performances here and there for the likes of Casemiro and Rafael Varane, but are we building a team and are we building a system and a style with them players? No, we are not. And they never fully fitted in at Manchester United because there was nothing to fit into. There was no structure there at the football club. It was buying names for the name's sake and bringing players in that shouldn't have been brought into Manchester United. And that's where we have always failed throughout the years post Sir Alex Ferguson. And we all know it. And right now, there is no room for that. And we're paying the penalty for it. But in a way, it's forced us into this new recruitment system. And hopefully this now is us stumbling upon the next way forward for Manchester United. Because I think that's where this club needs to go. We do need to be moving into the realms of finding the right quality players through properly scouting and recruiting them young and looking at characteristics like we said. And ultimately making sure, and the most important thing is that we make sure that that player fits what Ruben wants. He has to be 100% involved in these transfers. And he's not going to pick every single player individually and say, we've got to get him. The structure will bring him 3 or 4 players for each position that he wants. And then they will discuss between themselves if he's right. And that, I think that's proven there in Dorgu, in Heaven. Like, what can we bring in? What can I have in January? Not much, because we haven't got a lot of money and we need to balance this year's PSR finances. So there's Dorgu, there's Heaven, there's 26 million spent, and both of them players are pretty much guaranteed starters in Manchester United right now. And that goes to show you, with all of the money that we've spent, and when you look at the centre-backs, when you look at what we've got right now, and we look at the full-backs, so right away, am I playing Dorgu ahead of Dalot? Yes, I am. I can't really bring Dalot into this equation because we paid 18 million for him, and he really hasn't been a bad signing for Manchester United. But let's move into the centre-back realm. In January, Manchester United spent the 26 million on Dorgu and Aiden Heaven. We just said that. So when you look at the centre-back options that we've got a 40 million pound Victor Lindelof. Is he going in ahead of him? Yes, he is. We've got an 80 million pound Harry Maguire. Are you putting him in ahead of him? Yes, I am. Are you putting him in ahead of the likes of Leach and Martinez right now? Are you putting him ahead of De Ligt? Are you putting him ahead of Euro? No, you're not. Are you? Obviously, but still, you have got over 120 million pounds worth of signings there in what I've just been talking about, in going out and buying players for the sake of their names. And obviously, second-rate players because we didn't have a recruitment place in the case of Lindelof, when we should have been buying Van Dijk that season for Jose Mourinho. And now we've gone out and spent £1 million on a defender who's 18 that starts ahead of both of them in Manchester United's side when everybody's fit right now. It's crazy, isn't it? That's the example of what it was compared to where it is right now. I did want to talk about Rasmus Højlund and that celebration last night. Now, some people have gone on saying, I can't believe he's done that. Can't believe he's done that in front of Cristiano Ronaldo. I say, go for it, Rasmus. I don't really give a shit. I don't care. Go and celebrate scoring a very important goal for Denmark. I am absolutely buzzing for Rasmus Højlund right now. For actually getting that goal. Not for the sake of the celebration. He came out and explained that Ronaldo's his idol. Honestly, don't care. Go and celebrate however you want. I'm sure Ronaldo will accept that he is this worldwide icon right now. And obviously people are going to imitate him because he's so big. I think he embraces it, Ronaldo. I don't actually think Ronaldo's going to have an issue with that. And there probably will be jokes going around the United changing room when they all come back off international duty between the likes of Dalot, Bruno and Rasmus Højlund. We've known that there's been a bit of a tit for tat with them over the last few years, actually, hasn't there? And there was an argument between Dalot, Bruno had to step in for, with Rasmus Højlund as well. I don't know if there is any still bad blood around with that at all, but honestly right now, the only thing I care about is Rasmus Højlund continuing his form right now. So that's 3 goal involvements in his last 3 games. He got the assist for Dalot against Sociedad, he scored against Leicester, and now he scored for Denmark in a big game against a good team. And that is what we need to be looking at for United. We just wanted the international break to go well. And if Rasmus continues his form, because he is a streak striker, we know this because he's done it before. If you can get on a streak from now until the end of the season, United are quids in and the player in really there, because you could see him develop even more and save us a job in going out buying a world-class striker in the summer. I'm not saying that Rasmus is the answer, but if he can find something now in this time, like other players have done as well, like Garnacho has done, like Bruno Fernandes has done, like Ahmad has done under Ruben Amorim, and we're seeing all of these players now really start to come of age at Manchester United. Maybe Rasmus Højlund can find his form right at the pivotal stage of the season and go, bang, here we go. This is it. Then it helps United if they want to move him on because he's probably worth more money. And if he isn't the plan of the future for Ruben Amorim, it gives us a better chance of selling him. But it also helps us use him as a second striker, because let's not forget, last night he came off the bench to score that goal for Denmark. So that's another positive. If he can come off the bench and have an impact, yes, it's painful, but I said this yesterday, we cannot be thinking about Rasmus Højlund's price tag when we're looking at the situation that we're in right now. He's a second-rate striker, and he is someone to come in behind the top striker. That's it. Forget the price tag. That's just what we've got there in that player. And if he's willing to come and play his part at Manchester United as a second behind someone else coming in this summer and do what he did last night and do what he's done recently, then all for it. All for it. It's brilliant. And that, I think, is where Manchester United are at with Rasmus Højlund right now. Absolutely made up for him. I'm glad, because it all helps Manchester United in the end run into this season and everything that we need. If we've got a Rasmus Højlund on form going into this tough run of games against Forest, against City, 2 games against Lyon, and then Newcastle as well. If we've got an informed Rasmus Højlund there, it all helps Manchester United, and that's all that matters. That's everything. That's all that matters. I thought Ronaldo looked washed the last World Cup. Look, Portugal are never going to win anything as long as Ronaldo's in the side. He's a legend. He's fantastic, but the team just revolves around him. He has too much of a say. He needs to retire from international football. He'll still score goals. He will. But they're not going to win a tournament with him in the side. There are other players that could do a job. I've said this before, and I got slaughtered from all of the Ronaldo fanboys for it. I love the guy. He's an absolute legend for Manchester United. Or is he? You could argue that point as well. He's had an absolutely fantastic career, and no one can come near him. But his time is up at the top level, and that's why he's playing in the Saudi Pro League. I mean, come on, let's be real about this. But yeah, Rasmus Højlund last night, buzzing for him. Don't care about anything else. I'm just happy that a United striker is in form right now, and we're actually seeing goals from him. So, yeah, I don't care for anything else at all. So, yeah, I'm buzzing with the celebration, really. I haven't got an issue with it at all. Go for it. Go and enjoy yourself, mate. And whatever makes you happy, go, because it just makes you play better for Manchester United when you come back as well. Please do subscribe to Forever United TV as well, everybody. We're on the road. What are we away now? We are, 233 subscribers away from 75k. Almost there, everyone. Keep it up. Keep them coming in. We have just hit over 200 live likes on the live morning show as well, everyone, which is brilliant. Let's get into a few more comments. I still think Rasmus can make it despite all of the evidence when you see him play, but I am probably delusional, but I think there is something about him that makes me think he will come good. Well said, Andrew. You keep thinking them thoughts, mate. We need positive vibes going forward. And I think Rasmus is a positive player. I think he feeds off positivity. And he is a streaky striker, isn't he? Like I just said. So if he can now go on and then score in a few games, it just worked out nicely for Manchester United. It worked out well, I think. And I just hope that he just latches onto this little bit of form right now and continues it forward into the rest of this season. It would be brilliant for us anyway. I would rather we bought a Gimenez, Akachek, someone young, talented and cheap. Look, everyone can't be cheap and young. We do need quality. And again, it's like what Laurie Whitwell said yesterday. We were talking about it last night. Quality comes in the free market area as well. And again, the no-brainer is go all out and throw everything that you've got at Jonathan David. He is exactly the right type of striker that Manchester United need. He really is. I did want to talk also about the fee for Jadon Sancho. Now, we've been talking about the stories going around. Look, nothing has changed. And as it stands, like Romano has said, Sancho is staying at Chelsea. They will pay United 25 million in the summer. which is brilliant. That added to the 5 million we got off Borussia Dortmund. And we are looking like we are probably just about making something on Jadon Sancho in all of that as well. So, when you look at that situation, you're thinking that's good, but that story did come about Chelsea and what they would need to do to really get out of this with Jadon Sancho. Ben Jacobs has been talking on his show on Playback TV. He has reported that the club has the ability to send Jadon Sancho back based on performance-related criteria. That sounds concerning on its own, doesn't it, with Jadon Sancho? The total cost of doing so would be a minimum of 6 million, rising up to just under 10 million, depending on wage, coverage, and flat fee. So they're the figures. They're what have come out. Ben Jacobs has talked about this in a bit more detail. It's a minimum 6 million rising to 10 million in fees. Like, that's what Chelsea would have to pay Manchester United to send Jadon Sancho back to the football club. There would be penalties in terms of what they are paying on his loan, on his wages as well, and what Manchester United are paying on the wages. Manchester United agreed to paying Jadon Sancho's or part of his wages in the understanding that Chelsea would be taking him on a permanent deal in the summer. So this could cost Chelsea a lot and not have a player at all. And really, it would look quite bad on them, on their part. And United would cash in on this. And then they would obviously have to sell Jadon Sancho again. But they could have 10 million extra in the pot from him coming back. And then you could maybe sell him on the cheap. You could, if you got 10 million back off the loan, which Chelsea have paid in penalties, and you could still sell him for maybe 20, 25 million to maybe Dortmund or someone like that because they love Jadon Sancho, then you'd actually make more money on Jadon Sancho. But as it stands, he's still staying at Chelsea. And United, in the end, with the 5 million from last season and the 25 million that Chelsea are going to pay, would have recouped 30 million off that 78 million transfer fee that we paid for Jadon Sancho. That is where we're at with it. But just so you know, we've been talking about how much Chelsea would have to pay to get out of it. They're the figures floating around off the back of what Ben Jacobs was talking about on his show in the detail of this detail for Jadon Sancho. So that pretty much is where that situation is right now. Chelsea don't even see him worth the risk of making even a 5 million profits on him. That's crazy. We'll recognise if he came back, we could sell him easy for 15 million. So at least we would get the 25 million. Just get him gone. Look, even if he came back to United, he would be out of the club again. There is zero intention from Manchester United, and these reports have come from Fabrizio Romano. Zero intention for Manchester United to actually take Jadon Sancho back and bring him back into the side. Even if he did come back with them penalties paid by Chelsea, he would be sold on in the summer. So don't worry, Manchester United fans. He would be leaving United no matter what. It's just annoying that he's still lingering around right now. That's the issue with Jadon Sancho, I feel. And I just don't think fans want him anywhere near the football club. And I get it. I do. I don't think that United are in any position to welcome him back financially anyway. The wage structure for a player like that who isn't going to contribute under Ruben Amorim at all is nothing that Ineos would even entertain. And I think we're safe no matter what. But still, I just want him gone on that deal that was there. I want him gone from Manchester United under that 25 million that Chelsea agreed. 25 million for him. Honestly, I think United right now are laughing at Chelsea. They really are. But I don't want to laugh too loud because I don't want them to trigger them penalties and send him back. I'd rather him play well from now until the end of the season and actually get United that money that we need desperately going into the summer. And then wages off United's books. Because let's be honest, we're still paying half of that 300 odd grand a week. So that is another chunk of change for Manchester United to shift. And it would make a big, big difference on United's books going into PSR year 2025-26. So, no. See you later, Jadon. I want you gone. And I think every single Manchester United fan does as well. You never did anything in the first place for the club, and you are not welcome back. Freedom fighter. And now look at Marcus Rashford without you. I didn't even have to say that at the end there, but you know what I mean. Rashford not even entertaining that tweet and that response that he's put out anyway. Tells you everything you need to know. Maybe the penny's dropping with Marcus Rashford as well. Getting rid of Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho. for what, nearly 70 million approximately it's going to work out for in the summer. Good work. Would I take Semenyo? Unshakable has asked me in the chat. Yeah, I would. I think he's a good player. I really do think he's a good player. And again, it's just the age factor, isn't it? He's a bit older than what Manchester United are looking at. And if there's any player above 26 that's valued around 35 million plus, which Semenyo would be, United are not going to buy him. Ineos won't invest that money. If you're going to spend a lot of money on a player, it has to be a young player, and it has to be someone who is going to be valuable going forward into the future. And that's what United did all summer. The reason we bought in Mazraoui, because he was bleeding 13 million. He's the eldest player we bought in the summer at 26 for 13 million, though. That there you're not losing out on. You're really not losing out on that at all. When it comes to the other players, look at the ages of them. Tells you everything you need to know. Every single one of them. 25 De Ligt. Agate, what was Agate? I think Agate was 23, 24 was there? I need to double check on that one. But then you're looking at Leniero, 18. Xerxes, 23. Like, there is futures within all of these players and room for United to manoeuvre in the transfer market, and even if they wanted to sell them on again. So that's what we're looking at. But yeah, I'm going to round up the show there. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the show. Almost at 250 live likes, everybody. Around 1,000 in the room throughout. Thank you, everyone, again. Get into the comment section below on all of our topics there. Talk to me about Dibbling, Branthwaite, and all of the other players that we discussed. Would you take Jadon Sancho back if it meant we could get a fee from penalties and then go and sell him for even more than 25 million in the summer? Or do you just want him gone? Cheers, everybody. Thank you, mods and members in the chat, for helping out. I will see you all later on. I'm actually at a wedding today, so the content this evening is going to be something even more different. It's going to be something special this evening, so stay tuned for that one, everybody. If anything breaks throughout the day, I will get to you as best I can, but like I said, it's a busy day for me, so get your comments in on this video and we'll look through them throughout the day. But I'm going to be busy from now on, and then you will see the content that I've put up later on. It is something that I've worked on. It wasn't really easy to film, to be honest. For that reason alone, you need to watch it, because it is something that is quite close to me and a lot of United fans. So go watch that content later, and I will catch up with you all in a bit. Have a great day, everybody. The weekend is here already. Fantastic.